So we're getting started. We're going to do what is flow. Basically just scrape together all the different, just the important aspects of the projects. Like that was one of the things why I created Apewell, because everybody, whenever they're trying to market their stuff, they fluff it up and try to use all these words that sound good. But I mean, like if you're just investing off the actual factual information, then that stuff doesn't really matter. Like I trim off all the fat and we just keep it down to the bare bones, what's important and what matters. And then obviously analysis afterwards. But yeah, so that's what we're just going to be doing right now. So we'll get started with Flow. Home to the world's most trusted communities. Flow is easy to use and powerful to build with. Every aspect of the platform was designed from the ground up to support exceptional user experience at mainstream scale. Originally conceived by the team behind CryptoKitties. Okay, I didn't know that they were actually... I knew that... So we did research on Doodles last week, and from that we learned that two of the founders of Doodles were the founders of CryptoKitties, who also ended up going to Dapper. And that's kind of what ended up just leading us into researching Flow. Like we want to see what's going on over there, because it seems like there's a lot of good momentum with like NBA Top Shot. I'm big into UFC Strike. Animoca's in this, and NFL, of course. There's just a lot of stuff they have going on for them. So I think it's something to pay attention, something that's worth paying attention to. And yeah, it's like we're in the bear market, so it sounds kind of weird because like people are like morale is low because the prices are down. We're all poor now, but like if you really want to make the big returns, this is when you should be the most interested. So yeah, my advice is just if you're struggling to go through the bear market, just find something that really you're interested in, because there's like Web3 crossovers with like any niche you can think of now, and if it doesn't exist, why not go make it? So Flow kickstarting the open metaverse, just like we were talking about earlier. They got Top Shot. It's just like highlight NFTs of NBA players. They got the same thing with UFC, NFL. Developer first experience, battle tested in production, ready to help you build the kinds of applications that people want to use. I'm not a dev, so that stuff doesn't really make too much of a difference to me. But it is a smart contracts platform, so I like to start by just getting the basic information out there. So like smart contract platform or protocol, I don't know. Well, this is why I go back in and edit it. It takes a few run throughs, and like, you know, it's just a lot of editing, re-editing, re-editing, all that type of fun stuff. Consumer friendly onboarding. Flow standardizes usability improvements for crypto traders and sports fans alike, letting you focus on what matters. What they're really good at is you can buy NFTs on Flow using credit cards, debit cards, super easily. That's what they really have going for them in terms of mainstream ready experience. Yeah, like it says right here, Flow supports multiple payment on-ramps and ecosystems optimized for consumer applications. Human readable security. Fundamental requirement to protect mainstream users against malicious apps and build trust in the system. I'll be interested in learning more about that. We'll dive into that for sure. Smart user accounts. Flow accounts make it easy for dApps or wallets to pay transaction fees and recover lost keys for users. Also interested in how the lost key recovery works. I haven't heard of that before. And then incentives for early adopters. A significant allocation of Flow tokens is reserved for early user and developer growth. Interesting. I'm wondering if they got any kind of like liquidity mining or staking incentives. That would be something that interests me in like accumulating a bag of this during the bear market. Because if you can get some passive income with it while you're expecting the price per token to increase in the future, then that's how you start compounding right there. A green Web3 network. Flow starts with hot stuff, a proven proof-of-stake consensus mechanism, and adds a unique multi-node infrastructure or architecture to drive dramatic improvements in speed, throughput, and environmental friendliness without sharding or layer 2. This means Flow is the greenest Web3 network among the leading platforms. Minting an NFT on Flow costs less carbon than a post on social networking site. That's interesting. So let's see how this works. I dove into Flow like a year ago. I didn't end up writing anything about it, but there was a lot of it that actually interested me, and that's one of the other reasons why I'm interested in really doing a deep dive into it now, because one of the things that I don't like about a lot of the newer blockchains is how centralized they are. And I'm gonna have to look back into the consensus and verification and how all that goes on. But from what I remember, Flow is one of the most decentralized networks out of these new ones that are coming out. And like it'll probably never be as decentralized as Ethereum or Bitcoin, but we'll dive into all those statistics in a second. No sharding. On Flow, every application can be a platform. Smart contracts and user accounts on Flow can always interact with each other in one atomic, consistent, isolated, and durable acid, nice, transaction. So I'm trying to like sift through the marketing words here. So smart contracts and user accounts on Flow always interact with each other in one atomic, consistent, isolated, and durable transaction. I'm wondering what they mean by atomic, because I know what like atomic swaps are, where you can just swap from like one token to the other token, just like without going through any other, middlemen, I guess. That's probably worded terribly, but yeah, I'll have to look into that a little bit too. In other words, all applications on Flow can run in the same shared execution state. That sounds way more eloquent than I put it. I should have just read that next sentence. This ensures Flow apps benefit from great user experience and full composability, letting developers easily build on each other's work. Sharding and layer 2 solutions break composability and reduce network effects for dApps and smart contracts by removing ACID guarantees from the execution environment. Alright, I didn't know that about sharding, so no sharding or layer 2. We'll have to dive into those. What can I build on Flow? This is just like any kind of smart contract stuff, Web3 applications, NFTs, gaming, metaverse, DeFi. Technical details. Interested in how it all works under the hood? Yes, we are. The Flow technical papers are more than 100. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's gonna be a lot. We are in for a fun one, folks. The Flow technical papers are more than 100 lovingly crafted pages across multiple white papers specifying the Flow system and its components. I'm not looking forward to that. We'll probably, if that really is 100 pages of like white paper and stuff, I'm gonna have to do that off stream, because I'm not gonna read through that. I'm not gonna read you guys an essay of the most boring shit in the world. Yeah, we can skip the testimonials. I do want to emphasize the top communities, because that shows you who's already using the platform, which is important. So, I don't know, is CryptoKitties on Flow now? I don't think so. Well, It's in ETH, so yeah, we'll leave them out for now. But NBA Top Shot, UFC Strike, NFL all day. Doodles, potentially. That's one of the rumors, is that since Doodles, the founders of Doodles, it says they conceived Flow. The Dapper Labs, it's one of those two, I can't remember. But it just makes sense that, they would understand this ecosystem and want to move their stuff over. So apparently, that's what they're thinking about doing for this new Doodles 2 launch. If you want the full Doodles analysis, go grab a Vision Dex. It's token gated, but you can find out all the information there. Alright, so let's keep going. It's got a lot of partners with colleges. Cargo used to be on ETH. That's interesting because they shut down. It doesn't look like if I click on any of these they do anything. So, all right, they're backed by pretty much like literally everybody possible. They got Andreessen Horowitz, A16, Animoca. I'm surprised 3 Arrows isn't on here. Shout out Suzu. Hope you're doing well. Alright, primer overview. Alright, yeah, we're definitely not going to go through the technical papers on stream. This should be a good overview, and probably all that we need, actually. Alright, so, dude, my mouth gets so dry talking for so long. I was just at that NFT meetup, like I said, so I've just been talking non-stop NFTs all morning. It really wears on the vocal cords. Alright, introduction. Flow, the blockchain for open worlds. Flow is a fast, decentralized, and developer-friendly blockchain designed as the foundation for a new generation of games, apps, and digital assets that power them. It is based on a unique multi-role architecture and designed to scale without sharding, allowing for massive improvements in speed and throughput while preserving a developer-friendly, ACID-compliant environment. I need to break down the ACID thing so it makes sense to the average person. So we'll do ACID. What does it stand for? I should have stayed on that main page. Atomic, consistent, isolated, durable. Okay. Flow empowers developers to build thriving crypto and crypto-enabled businesses. Applications on Flow can keep consumers in control of their own data, create new kinds of digital assets tradable on open markets, accessible from anywhere in the world. Okay, yeah, so all that's, it's just like Ethereum. It's fluffing it up. Smart contracts on Flow can be assembled like Lego blocks to power apps serving billions of people. Yeah, we know that. That's how blockchains work. There are 4 pillars that make Flow unique among existing blockchains. Now, these are what I want to look at. Multi-role architecture. Pretty sure that's how they get the decentralization. So we'll go features. Actually, got to be specific. Unique features, because that's what we care about. Multi-role architecture. Resource-oriented programming. See, I hate how much marketing words go into this, because it's like, okay, you have all these features, but what do they actually mean? That's why I gotta break them down. Developer ergonomics, the fuck does that mean? And consumer onboarding. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Alright, so actually, it's got a definition next to it, so let's look at these and see if that helps us figure out what these things do, or at least like a high-level overview. Multi-role architecture. Flow's design is unique, allowing the network to scale to serve billions of users without sharding or reducing decentralization of consensus. So it allows the network to scale, serve billions of users without sharding or reducing the yeah. So I remember at one point I learned how this works. It is really cool, and it does. This is what makes it more decentralized. We'll have to look at how that works again. Resource-oriented programming. This has to do with like keeping Flow green, I'm pretty sure. Smart contracts on Flow are written in Cadence, an easier, safer programming language for crypto assets and apps. Developer ergonomics. So from upgradable smart contracts and built-in logging support to the Flow emulator, this network is designed for results. And then customer onboarding. Flow is designed for mainstream consumers with payment on-ramps. Yeah, fiat low friction. Okay, I'm trying to see if there's any parallels between unique features and ACID. Like, do they mean Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there is some kind of overlap. We'll move those next to each other because I want to keep that in mind, but don't want to spend too much time on trying to sort all that stuff out now. Alright. While we originally started building Flow for our own use cases, it has quickly become far bigger than us. Hundreds of developers in our Discord and thousands around the world agree, blah blah blah. Multi-node architecture. In a traditional blockchain, every node stores the entire state, account balances, smart contract code, etc., and performs all of the work associated with processing every transaction in the chain. This is analogous to having a single worker build an entire car. This is like if you ever actually downloaded like a Bitcoin wallet on your computer and it's got to restore the entire blockchain. This is what it means by that. Alright, so from manufacturing to CPU design, pipelining is a common technique for dramatically scaling up productivity. Flow applies pipelining to blockchains by separating the jobs of a validator node into 4 different roles: collection, consensus, execution, and verification. Alright, so we're going to be going into multi-role architecture. The separation of labor between nodes is vertical across the different validation stages for each transaction rather than horizontal across different transactions as with sharding. Alright, let's see what this, let's break this down. The separation of labor between nodes is vertical across the different validation stages for each transaction rather than horizontal. I don't know why I'm not we're gonna need to learn more before my brain can wrap around that one. It's not clicking for me right now. In other words, every validator node still participates in the validation of every transaction, but they only do so but they do so only at one of the stages of validation. They can therefore specialize for and greatly increase the efficiency of their particular stage of focus. Alright. There's still so many marketing words that get used for this. It just makes my job harder. But, I'm not going to say I don't love it. This allows for Flow to scale to thousands of times higher throughput and lower cost while maintaining a shared execution environment for all operations on the network. In database terms, smart contracts and user accounts on Flow can always interact with each other in one ACID transaction. This ensures good user experience, blah blah blah. Alright. Definitely, I don't recommend reading this and try to learn it. There's way better YouTube videos out there that can give you... I'm a visual learner, better than just reading words. And I know there's some really good videos on YouTube from the Flow team that really break this down and make it easier to understand than what they have written here. So, I'll probably end up checking those out off stream while I'm like, making sure everything in here is correct. But yeah, so we can skip the problems with sharding. Not really too worried about that for right now. I do like shard. Actually, we're gonna read it. I'm a fan of sharding. I think that's a good way to go about things, but I actually don't know what the problems with it are. So why not learn together? Okay. Most proposals aim to improve the scalability of blockchains by fragmenting them into interconnected networks, commonly shards, although sidechains have the same issues. These approaches remove stability, serializability, I've never heard this word before. Guarantees common in database systems. Loss of ACID guarantees make building an app that needs to access data across fragments far more difficult and error prone. Sharding is basically, it's like all these different computers in the network are all trying to help solve like different parts of the same validation, I guess, and basically just like doing it in small individual parts that end up being combined in the end. So it's like less intensive for one computer and more people can get involved in the validation process. I probably did a horrible job explaining that, but yeah, we'll this is why we do this in the bear market, so we by the time the bull markets come around, we know exactly what we need to know. Sharding effectively saddles the hardest part of scaling the blockchain onto application developers rather than solving it at the protocol level. Okay. Yeah, I lied. We're gonna skip we're gonna skip this part for now. Alright. Separating consensus. A lot of this stuff is mainly just breaking down how it works, but that's the other thing about investing is like not just investing, but like investing in crypto products is you just need to know why they are the way that they are. How they work isn't super necessary unless you like really want to dive in and make sure that, you know, it's safe and secure. But we're just looking at high level right now. Alright, Flow multi-role architecture. Flow pipelines the work of a blockchain miner or validator across 4 different roles that all require staking. A separation of concerns that significantly reduces redundant effort. Alright, so these are the 4 nodes. Back up to what it said earlier. In other words, every validator node still participates in the validation of every transaction, but they only do so at one of the stages. So what those 4 things below are the 4 different stages of validation. And all the validators can only do one of these. So there's consensus nodes. Here, we're gonna make it quick for now. No Diaz. Validator nodes, that's what we want. Alright, we'll go and fix the plagiarization during editing. Flow is designed such that even a single honest node of any role... Oh wait, I'm so dumb. I didn't even read what these do. Okay, we need to do that. Consensus nodes decide the presence and order of transactions on the blockchain. Verification nodes are responsible for keeping the execution nodes in check. Execution nodes perform the computation associated with each transaction, and collection nodes enhance network connectivity and data availability for dApps. So basically all the different nodes have specific roles, and that's how they can make it more efficient for the whole blockchain to operate. Because instead of like people trying to solve all of these at once, they've broken them down into 4 specific areas that people can specialize for. Flow is designed such that even a single honest node of any role can punish and trigger recovery from invalid data introduced by dishonest collection or execution nodes. Alright, this is where it's starting to get complicated. Which is great that they got these graphs for us. So let's see how far we get before we're just really getting into the thick of it. Consensus and verification nodes together are the foundation of security in the Flow network and leverage crypto economic incentives to hold the rest of the network accountable. So let's see. General node info. So they say consensus and which one? Verification are the security. I cannot spell nodes on the first try. What is wrong with me? Consensus verification nodes are the foundation of security. in the flow network and leverage incentives to hold the rest of the network accountable. Okay, so crypto economic incentives. What they basically mean by this is you can stake your flow to help the validations go through, and if you're being honest, you will get the incentives. If you're not honest, then people will take your coins. That's basically how staking works from a very high level. So yeah, it looks like that's where the staking goes. These validators can optimize for security and decentralization. The roles of consensus and verification are streamlined to allow high levels of participation, even by individuals with consumer-grade hardware running on at-home internet connections. Consensus nodes run a variant of hot stuff, one of the most proven proof-of-stake algorithms. Did I spend? No, I did not spell that. I never get algorithm right on the first try. I'm not even gonna. We'll get it right eventually. And this is how we're gonna do it. Boom. Okay, so I really want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Consensus and verification, foundation of security. They optimize for security and decentralization. The roles of consensus and verification are streamlined to allow high levels of participation. Alright, we'll move on to execution and collection, because it's like the more pieces of the puzzle we fill, it helps us go back and then figure out more of what we previously learned. Alright, so execution and collection nodes, on the other hand, do what is fully deterministic, making them less vulnerable to attack. The work of these nodes is verified and held accountable by other node types. These node roles can therefore safely optimize for security and scalability, allowing the network to scale. Okay, so execution and collection nodes help the network scale. These node roles can therefore safely optimize for security and scalability, allowing the network to scale. Operating these nodes requires dedicated server hardware in a professionally managed data center. So these are more hardware intensive. And then these are designed for high use. Not high use, that's probably not the best way to describe it. How do they describe it? High levels of participation and consumer grade hardware. Yeah, so it's made with the people in mind. Is all you need. Alright. Spocks. Let's see what these are. Specialized proofs of confidential knowledge. Specialized proofs of confidential knowledge are a new cryptographic technique developed by the Flow team and formally defined in our technical papers. Spocks allow for any number of provers to demonstrate to a third-party observer that they each have access to the same confidential knowledge. I'm wondering if this is like the zero knowledge proofs, because that is the future of NFTs, Web3, of literally everything. We need zero knowledge proofs. So if these are like them, then that's huge for Flow. So this is going to need its own section. did I accidentally click on the technical paper again? Oh, that is one of the technical papers. Alright. The more we're diving into this, the more I'm gonna realize, or the more I am realizing that I'm gonna have to dive into those technical stuff. Can't wait. Spocks allow for any number of provers to demonstrate to a third-party observer that they each have access to the same confidential knowledge. These proofs are non-interactive and don't reveal the confidential knowledge. Each prover's Spock is specialized to them and cannot be copied or forged by any other prover. I'm not really sure what this means, but basically, for when it says these proofs are non-interactive and don't reveal the confidential knowledge, it's basically it helps you protect the assets that you actually own, and with like an increased level of anonymity. So it's like if I wanted to, let's say the Bored Apes utilize this, and I only say that because I identify with them. I know how their ecosystem works really well. So say the Bored Apes do a merch drop, and in order to get access to the merch drop, you have to prove that you own an ape. Yeah, let's see. So like whenever you'd connect your wallet, in that case, it would, you got to connect from your actual account, and it could show like whoever's on the other side of that the exact ape you own, and who you are, what your address is, like not like real life address, but your ETH address, and basically they see everything that you actually own. Well, this, where it's non-interactive and doesn't reveal the confidential knowledge, that would let you go into the store, and then the basically the thing that lets you in the store, it would let it know that you do own an ape, but it wouldn't tell you which ape it is. And yeah, it's just like it adds a layer of confidentiality to the things that you do. So, and this is without doing a where it says non-interactive, that's like you don't have to, you know, when MetaMask, like people try to scam people through MetaMask by making them like click allow on a token that drains their wallet. Well, this just means like non-interactive, you just have to sign the thing, which doesn't put your assets to any kind of exposure like that, but it lets them know that you have the asset, and yeah, that's basically it. It's an extra level of privacy, which is what we need, and what people it's so boring to talk about privacy when it comes to blockchain stuff, but it's super important for a lot of applications. So yeah, I'm just gonna write a couple notes down here similar to ZK proof. Non-interactive. Don't reveal confidential info. We'll put this under the same one. Cool. Alright, developer first experience. Probably won't end up going into any of this stuff. Cadence is the smart contract programming language. We want to know that. Eco-friendly, apparently. I don't invest off if something's eco-friendly, but we'll throw that in there. Our experience developing blockchain applications like CryptoKitties and the Dapper smart contract wallet has led us to incorporate a number of improvements to developer ergonomics directly into the protocol layer on Flow. Several are outlined below. So Cadence, resource-oriented smart contract programming language, or maybe this isn't eco-friendly. Maybe this is just the efficiency part of it. I should probably read into it before writing that down. Let's see. Alright, here's what it means by resource-oriented programming. It's a new paradigm. Cool. designed to be secure and easy to use. For the first time, developers can create uniquely durable digital artifacts where ownership is tracked by the language itself, enabling a powerful new category of applications. Alright. So basically what I'm realizing right here is Cadence is gonna need its own it's gonna need its own section as well. Alright, what does it do again? Ownership, like, okay, so like digital asset ownership tracked by the language itself. Enabling a powerful new category of applications. As the first high-level resource-oriented programming language, they really love this term, like high-level resource-oriented. I don't know why, but like whenever I read something that's like clearly a marketing-based thing, I'm like, you can make this. I understand you want to make it sound really cool and all that, but like, make it understandable for regular-ass people. Alright, as the first one of these, Cadence has a comfortable ergonomic syntax, making it very easy to read. Of course, this is in the developer section anyway, so I'm probably just too dumb to understand it right off the bat. It introduces a strong static type system to minimize runtime errors and allows all methods, interfaces, and transactions to include pre- and post conditions to enforce expected behavior. This has resulted in a language that's easier to learn, significantly easier to audit, and ultimately much more productive than any other alternatives. You can start learning, oh, that's cool. You can start learning Cadence on Flow. Let's check this out. See how easy it might actually be to learn. I have no idea how to develop anything, but I really want to learn. I wonder if there's any prerequisites to like if you gotta know Python, and then this is something you can add to that to like supplement what you build on here, or if you can just build straight off of Cadence, because that would be interesting if it really is one of the simplest that you can deploy. If it's simple to learn, I guess that's what really matters. Interesting. We'll keep this in here just in case we write something about that. Leave open source tooling. We don't really need to go into any of that. Oh my god, my throat is still just like dry as fuck. Okay, so it's got fungible tokens and non-fungible tokens, equivalent of Ethereum's ERC 721. That's good to know. We got fungible tokens, coins, and NFTs. Similar to ERC 721. Similar to ERC 20. Upgradable smart contracts. One of the most important promises made by smart contract platforms is that users can trust the smart contract code instead of trusting the smart contract authors. This aspect of blockchains unlocks use cases that we are only beginning to explore, the most impactful of which might be the concept of open services and composability. Alright, we're gonna have to... Composability, if you guys don't know what this is the most important part of NFTs in general. And I will stand by that. It's composability. If NFTs were not composable, they would be way less valuable than they are today. But they are composable. That's just a feature of NFTs. Like, that's how they are. Probably not going to read this, but I might read it on my own time. So I'm going to keep that open. In their first incarnation, I don't know why that's so funny to me. I've just never heard someone say it like that. In their first incarnation, smart contract platforms were designed such that contract code could never be changed after it's released. This is the most straightforward method to achieve the goal. If the code can't be changed even by the original authors, you clearly don't need to trust the authors after the code is launched. Yeah, it's like they can't come back in and rug you, basically. Unfortunately, software is hard to get right the first time. There's no shortage of examples of smart contracts that, even with incredibly talented teams and motivated communities, had subtle problems that led to a massive loss of funds. It happens. Alright, so this is just... Alright, I'll read it. Many developers have expressed the desire to fix or improve the smart contract after it has been deployed, and several have gone to a lot of time and trouble to build some mechanism into their smart contract to allow for upgrades or migrations, but having each developer roll their own mechanism for upgradability adds complexity and makes those contracts harder to trust. True. On Flow, we allow smart contracts to be deployed to the mainnet in a beta state, where the code can be incrementally updated by the original authors. Users will be alerted to the unfinished nature of this code and can choose to wait until the code is finalized before trusting it. That's interesting. Once authors are confident that their code is safe, they can irrevocably release their control on the contract, and it becomes perfectly immutable for the rest of time. That's cool. I like how they give you that option of, like, you know, rolling it out in beta before just making it unupgradable. But it does come, like, eventually where they plan on having the original authors make it immutable. So it's like, it's definitely good while the product or while the protocol, whatever app they've built is rolling out. But eventually it'll all come back to this original part of, like, being immutable. This system balances the needs of users to be informed about what kind of code they are dealing with, whether or not an application or smart contract is truly trustless, while allowing developers the flexibility to tweak their code for a limited time after shipping. I wonder, they say limited time, I wonder if there's a max time that you have between deploying something and making changes on it. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Upgradable smart contracts. We'll put that as just like a minor note. I don't think it's a huge value add. It definitely is nice to have, but I don't think it's like a super important feature of Flow. Fast deterministic finality. Flow is really fast if you've never used it before. Gas fees basically 0, transactions basically instant. And I mean, I've seen Flow. I'm pretty sure the blockchain's crashed before, just because, like, this was back in the really popular Top Shot days. So it's not infallible by any means. Solana, I mean, as big as Solana is, it goes down all the fucking time. Which is, yeah, I have my gripes with, like, most chains. At least for some things. And I'm like, they're not going to be perfect. I understand that. You need to work through the kinks and figure out what works. From the standpoint of end users, the speed of a blockchain is most practically measured by the time it takes before the client can, before the user can be confident their transactions permanently included on the chain. Yeah, so like I was saying, it's really fast. On Flow, finality is achieved within seconds. Correct. And I think that has to do with the efficiency of the 4-layer of nodes that we were talking about earlier, which is how they solved the scalability at a protocol level. So once consensus nodes determine which block a transaction will be a part of. Okay, hold on. I completely butchered that. Okay. Once consensus nodes determine which block a transaction will be a part of, user agents can, in most cases, execute the transaction locally and give feedback to the user almost immediately. In cases where results may be influenced by other transactions in the network, like decentralized exchanges, stuff like that, users will either choose to trust an execution node using modern APIs to get feedback within a couple seconds, or wait until the results of the transaction are sealed into the blockchain along with all the relevant execution and verification receipts. This process of block sealing and formal observation takes around 10 blocks, about 10 seconds at launch. I can say from personal experience using Flow, I've never had something even take 10 seconds to finish. And like all I've done on Flow is UFC Strike mainly, but I know a lot of other people who do other stuff, and I'm not sure if they've had problems, but my own personal experience, I haven't had any issues using Flow. Built-in logging support. Do we care about support? No, I feel like skipping that one. Okay. Consumer-friendly onboarding. In addition to mainstream-ready payment on-ramps, the Flow network makes it easy to build applications that people want to use. So I definitely have to include easy fiat to crypto on-ramps, because that is a big feature of using Flow. Like, if you want to sell NFTs and have them accessible through a credit card, this is probably the easiest way to go about it. It seems like they've built that into the system somehow. I'd like to dive in and figure out exactly how that works, and we'll probably get to that. Alright. Oh my god, dude. Is this the same? Am I like... Please tell me I'm reading... Okay, cool. I didn't want to have to like finish this page and then still have a whole nother page of things to go. Because I was like, we're almost running out of time on the stream, but I do want to get through this whole page before we end. So, consumer-friendly onboarding. In addition to mainstream-ready payment on-ramps... Oh yeah, we just read that. Human-readable security. On current networks, it's nearly impossible for an app or wallet software to provide a human-readable message clearly outlining what permissions they're giving when authorizing a transaction. Facts. The Flow transaction format makes very strong guarantees about what kinds of changes a transaction can and cannot make. This makes it easy for a wallet to ensure users are making informed decisions about what they are approving. It'll be up to wallet software to display this information to the users, but by making the Flow transaction format easy to statically analyze, we create the possibility for a more transparent transaction approval process. Okay, I really do like that. Let's see, that's under consumer onboarding. I didn't think we were gonna end up making a little, like our own thing for consumer onboarding, but I think I'll probably end up changing the phrasing on this, just like consumer consumer onboarding. Yeah, just like ease of use is really how I would define that. So human readable security. Easily understand what are the outcomes of approving specific contracts. Something like that. Or transactions, I should say. Specific transactions. Alright. Smart user accounts. No more seed words or lost keys. This is something that was really interesting to me. Flow is designed with flexibility in mind. Over the past year, Dapper Labs has pioneered a variety of usability enhancements to the Ethereum account model as part of the Dapper smart contract wallet. Those enhancements are part of the native account model on Flow. Okay, so usability enhancements. Gotcha. Optional modular smart contract functionality built into every Flow wallet. This supports automated processes or more sophisticated authorization controls, in turn enabling good user experience. For example, dApps can easily make sure consumers never lose their assets or access to their accounts with secure account recovery flows. Added security through optional multiple signature support, multi-sig support, with the ability to cycle out old keys regularly to avoid security leaks. That's interesting. So you can like change. This means you can like change your the words in your seed phrase. I'm gonna have to do. I'm definitely gonna dive into this. I'm gonna try to recover or like change the seed phrases in my own account so I know how this stuff works. Hey, what's good, Ty? Shout out. We're diving into Flow. So like right now, I know you got the vision decks. So like you know that there's that ongoing vote. I don't know if you voted in this or not, but if you haven't, there's still time to like figure out what the next community article is gonna be. But as of right now, Flow's leading the charge, so I'm getting started early, putting together some research on the blockchain, on the Flow blockchain, and you know, we got a lot of info so far. Sounds kind of sus. Oh, you voted on the bear market survival? That's close number 2 right now. We got some stuff coming in for that. Like I'm definitely gonna touch on that, whether it's the number 1 thing or not, because I know eventually everyone's gonna vote that in. So yeah, good to know. Yeah, so like Flow's doing some weird stuff. They have a lot of stuff that's different, like when it's based around security and what kind of stuff, like benefits of using them over Ethereum. And yeah, it's so different is what I'm realizing. So it's gonna be a big in-depth analysis right here. But we're just going through like the white paper, basically like the high level overview, and then figuring out what's important and what's not from an investor standpoint. So appreciate you being here, my dude. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't really go into how any of these specific things work, which is what I was hoping it would. So it's probably going to be some YouTube videos that we end up looking at to actually get that figured out, because I'm a visual learner, like I said. Community. Alright, this is what I'm interested in, the operator fees and rewards, because I think we can get some staking. We can get some coins from staking this. So, community. Flow is committed to a world of open ecosystems, a world where software developers, content creators, and consumers alike are appropriately incentivized and rewarded for the value they contribute to the network. That's good. We like those words. The technical architecture is just one example of how Flow will ensure inclusivity and participation at the protocol level. Our community evangelism and efforts towards governance are equally, if not more, important. Okay. Node operator fees and rewards. On Flow, validator node operators supporting the network receive a portion of the transaction fees that pass through the system proportional with the work they do and their associated stake. So this is how we're going to make some money staking, running validator nodes. So let's see, validator nodes. That's like these 4 different types. So we got consensus nodes, verification, execution, and collection. General node info. So let's see. Flow validator node operators supporting the network receive a portion of transaction fees. And that's proportional to the work they do. Okay, so it's like the more you stake, the more you're entitled to earning, is what this last part means. Unlike miners or validators for other blockchains, validators on Flow can get started as consensus or verification nodes with relatively cheap hardware, ensuring broad, equitable participation and decentralization. Yes, so out of these four nodes, these two are the easy ones if you just have regular consumer grade hardware. And then this is if you got a full data center operation, then you'll be getting those, which is nice because it's like regular people, if just regular average person wants to get in on these staking rewards, then you got to be a consensus node or verification, and you can get a slice of the pie that way. But if you got these higher level stuff, then you can do these other nodes and then collect from that portion as well, which probably have bigger rewards for doing these. But it helps with the decentralization because more people can get involved in the validation process. In the early years of the network, when the fees are low, the network will provide additional rewards to node operators proportional with their efforts and associated stake. So basically, if you're in early, they're rewarding you for being in early and just showing your support. I'm really interested in learning how to set up these nodes and start participating in staking and verification. Because like I was saying earlier, like if you're gonna start accumulating flow in the bear market and with the intention of each token price being worth a lot more in the future, because they're only like $1.50 right now, probably even less. And then you start gaining these staking rewards, you're gaining the tokens, and then the tokens, if they end up actually going up in value like your investment thesis would be, then that's huge right there. Okay, I don't think we need to go into the developer ecosystem. That doesn't really influence, to me that doesn't really influence whether I would invest in it or not. As long as there are people developing on there, that's what you want to see. The more developers, the better. That's why I'm kind of keeping an eye on Solana, because they got a lot also, even though it's not my favorite chain. Oh my god. Excuse me. Content partners. Ooh, let's see what this is. I've never seen something actually say something about content creators or influencers. So, blockchain lets brands and influencers connect directly with their fans in new ways. Digital... I see you, Ty. Facts. It's that coffee coming back up from this morning. Digital scarcity and true ownership of assets create the space for gamified social experiences that go beyond individual apps, creating collector economies around every unique IP. Flow's working with with independents that are breaking the mold, as well as some of the world's leading entertainment studios, IP holders, and publishers to ensure our platform serves their needs. Damn, I should have... Did I fuck up? Did I fuck up not deploying on Flow? We'll find out. I'm actually really excited to see if Doodles moves their stuff over to Flow and how they do that. Yeah, Ty, I don't know if you've heard of that, but like the thing that got me interested in focusing on Flow is because the two Doodles founders. Okay, yeah, first time hearing it. Okay, so you'll probably like this. Two of the three Doodles founders were the founders of CryptoKitties, who also ended up going to found the Flow blockchain and Dapper Labs, and then then Doodles was their third thing. So, you know, since for Doodles 2, they're gonna be releasing like 2 million or whatever that number was, NFTs, and like really, you know, making like the biggest community of all time. Like Ethereum won't be able to handle that. So there's been rumors that stuff is going to be moved to a different chain, and just, you know, through deductive reasoning, like they're obviously the most familiar with Flow and how that whole thing works. So to me, that seems like it would be number one on the list for places to host Doodles 2 stuff. I know, I'm saying, bro, this is where you get the real alpha. We connect the dots here. So yeah, we're gonna dive into it before anybody cares about it. And then this is how we get in early. We gotta get in early, connect the right dots, and have conviction, and then that's where the money's made. Yeah, I'm excited about this stuff. I don't have any Flow, just disclaimer, I do not own any Flow right now. but probably gonna dollar cost average in over these next few months, especially if we keep getting bearish price action and we get these really nice discounts. Okay, so back to the content partners. Flow will sponsor the creation of an entertainment industry council for C-level executives from global IP holders, game publishers, entertainment studios, and cultural influencers. The council will help identify risks and opportunities, remove friction points for customer adoption, and help catalyze a healthy global entertainment ecosystem. Cool. I think they're definitely focused on the right stuff. It's just a matter of developing things and really getting that network effect going. So what's next? Tell us what you're building. Cool. Well, that was a really in-depth, like high-level overview. I'm gonna have to go back. We got a lot of good information in here. It's gonna be a lot of editing on the next few days and figuring out what's missing, what we need to add, and then really getting these things broken down into the important stuff. But yeah, I've been streaming for an hour and 13 minutes. Ty, we should definitely hop on a call. Honestly, we can after this. I gotta take a piss. And then, yeah, I'm gonna probably chill for a second. I got the pin lined up next to me, but I haven't had any breaks. We've been going non-stop on this research. But yeah, so everyone that's in here, shout out to you guys for joining in. We will have this on YouTube, so if you guys want to go back and look at the live research, that'll be available. And yeah, for anyone that wants to see the final version of this article, it'll probably be up to Vision Dex NFT owners only within like a week. So definitely get that Vision Dex. Hit up apewell.com, hit up me, Paper Ape, on Twitter if you got any questions. Subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, and we will see you tomorrow. Ty and I are hosting a Spaces at 5 o'clock Central, and then I'll be doing a stream, I think at 4 o'clock, right before that, so we can go straight from stream into the Spaces, make it a quick transition, and then we, oh yeah, alright, take that back, not 5 o'clock tomorrow, we got other stuff, we got more IRL stuff planned, but, yeah, a nice little happy hour. Yeah, we're still getting the schedule ironed out, but we're gonna have a schedule in the next week or two for regular content, so you guys know exactly when to come here and get the alpha. You know, this is why we're here. So shout out to you guys again for joining. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Shout out to Ty, my dude. Thanks for being here.